We appreciate you guys all joining in. Appreciate him being here. So we'll start with Roger. Go ahead. We're just going to do a Q&A, so fire away.
Okay. Hey, Caden, what has this been like the last couple of months, knowing how important this time of year is for you guys, but not being able to be together, but, still having the discipline to get all the work done and being in contact with guys, to make sure they're getting their work done?
It's been a little bit of a challenge because we would all like to be together. But again, I'm very confident our guys are putting their work in, and we're also doing a good job in group text, player led of videos and following the workout routine. So we do a pretty good job of holding each other accountable in that aspect. But again, like you said, it's been challenging, but right now at the same time, safety the most important thing, I feel like. And if we have to do this, obviously we got to, and I'd rather do it this way if it ensures everybody being safe. But I feel like I'm pretty confident as teams that we have a lot of self-starters. So
Go ahead, Bob. Sorry about that.
Hey, Caden. No, it's all good. I think Mel Kiper has you listed as the number 3 safety possibly in next year's draft. I know all those decisions are along the way, but what kind of confidence does that give you when experts are seeing you for who you can be and who you can become over the next year, possibly 2?
I mean, it's always good to be considered up there. I'm not satisfied and personally feel like I'm in the country, and I feel in that aspect we got dudes talented on our secondary who should be listed as well. And again, paying attention to that. But I guess it's cool to see. Right now, I'm just focusing on what I need to improve and getting my body right, and obviously leading my team the best way I can from a distance. And that's about it. But no, it's pretty cool.
Hey, Caden, can you talk about the work y'all are doing for the San Antonio Food Bank and just kind of what inspired those efforts to raise food and money and awareness and all that good stuff?
Yes, ma'am. So I kind of wanted to, in a time of need, I feel like it would be good to try to give back. So at first, I hit up obviously a couple of athletes in our area in San Antonio, and to see if they would what they would want to do and come up with ways to contribute the best we can. So at first, we we're going to do stuff for founders, where if it was providing masks and supplies they needed, and Rashad, he sent me on something on Twitter, and it's about the San Antonio Food Bank being backed up like miles or like a mile or something, where people were they're struggling to feed people. And so I looked into it a little bit more, and then my mom the next day sent me, and I didn't even talk to her about it, sent me something about it. And so it was like a sign that I think this is what we need to do. So all the guys have been very helpful. And again, it was just more so about us trying to get together and do the best we can for San Antonio. So, yeah.
Emily, you're up.
Caden, speaking of your mom, Mother's Day is coming up. Can you talk about what she means to you?
She means the world. From the majority of my life, she's been there. She had to take on when I was young, and the father figure and mother figure. And again, without her, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. And she's been everything, whether it be a friend, a mother, where she gets on my butt and just make sure that regardless, she's very selfless and really broke her back to put clothes on me and my brother's back. So she deserves the world, and hopefully one day I'll be able to give it to her.
Gotcha, Anwar. I'm unmuting you.
Hey, Caden, I'm curious, as a player, do you have any reservations about playing football in the fall, you know, with all this that's going on right now with the pandemic? Do you have any reservations about it?
We're treating it as if I have a season. There's no other way to go about it. And so that means I'm going to be working and doing what I got to do every day to make sure when the season comes, I'm at my peak level. And so that's how we're all looking at the football team. Again, like we said, there's all obviously safety precautions, and we're making sure we're keeping those in line and making sure we're following orders. But at the same time, we have to treat it as if there's a season, and I'm pretty confident that there will be. So again, I'll be putting in to get better.
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, Caden, along those lines, you know, there's a lot of athletic directors and coaches talking about, well, what if there's another flare-up or whatever? And I wonder, you know, 100 guys in that locker room, I mean, y'all are in there packed pretty tight. I mean, what are you as players, are y'all talking about, well, you know, what if somebody gets sick? Is that something that is being discussed?
For sure. And I guess if it came down to that, then that's something, I mean, I really don't know how to answer that question, just because it's like, I guess the virus is very easily spreadable. So I'm pretty sure there's some concern there, but I trust the ADs and whoever's in charge, that they'll handle this situation the right way and hopefully make sure that us athletes too are safe and not just out there, you know what I mean, just not protecting ourselves, obviously, and risk getting the virus, but also, you know what I mean, just I'm pretty sure that they're going to handle it the right way that needs to be handled to make sure that we're safe as well and not contaminated to it and making it worse.
Go ahead, Shahan.
Hey, Caden, two questions here. So first of all, you know, with all the turnover on staff on defense, where do you kind of think that you guys are at kind of a headspace perspective? And second of all, how did everything kind of come together with Bryce Wisdom and that whole parade situation?
So first question about headspace, as a team or as a defense, I should speak on. I feel like we're very confident, and we're going to be put in the right situations to make the plays that we need to. And again, since the staff came in, they've been very, very positive. And you know what I mean? The criticism, the constructive criticism that we've got, it's all to benefit us. And I mean, there's some things that we do need to fix, and it starts with the players individually, and that's just they just show that they care and understand that we do have the talent to be successful. Now it's really like, not talk about it, let's put it together. And these coaches are really, really, really good. Coach Ash, like I said, is like, I feel like from a player standpoint, and we haven't even touched the field mentally, my IQ is up there for sure. So I can't wait to touch the field again. And I know my teammates as well have the same mindset. And then the Bryce Wisdom parade came along. His mom has contacted me saying, hey, his birthday was coming up, so we're having like this little parade. Man, and I didn't know what to expect when I got there, but I'll tell you, it's probably one of the like most impactful things that I've ever seen as a community. A lot of people were there, and I mean, I'm kind of speechless for it, because this kid has really brought a community together through something that's really difficult and challenging for this family as well. And I'm pretty close with Rashad Wisdom, which is his brother. And again, anything they would need, I'll be there. But just to see this community behind it and to support him is crazy. Like, there's a lot of people there, and I mean, it was a cool thing to see, and just for him to know that I'm behind him as well as the community, and a lot of people really, really look up to him, even though he's younger than me. He's left an impact on me for sure, and I know as well as others. So.
Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Caden. Just kind of curious about what sort of, routine you've sort of established for yourself now going through the quarantine that we've all been in for a few weeks. What's your typical day look like? And then what have your conversations been like with Yancey in terms of, what equipment you have to work with and how he's sort of tailored individual workouts for you compared to other guys who have different equipment?
Well, yeah. So I've been home. So when I go home, I have like a little weight garage in there. So again, Yancey's really good at what he does. So regardless of what you have, whether it be milk cartons, bricks, or something, he's going to definitely find something for you to do to get better. And we appreciate that. So he'll send us. We'll get like a non-weight workout, whether if it's with bands or whatever, and then he'll send if you have some type of weight, you can get that in. So in that aspect, like it's just they're working on you, but you know what I mean. They find a way. Like I said, Coach Knight is really good at what he does. He's been around for a long time, so he has some tricks up his sleeve, obviously that he can use for us to benefit us to put in some work.
Raise your hand if you got one. Chuck, go ahead.
Yeah, Caden, you were talking about Coach Ash, his system. How much have you been able to pick up just from video and from what you did in the winter, and how much remains, I guess, when you get on the field? I mean, how familiar are you right now with it, and what's going to take to, I guess, make it second nature in terms of the new system? And I guess, second part, what strikes you about Coach Ash's system?
So just from the top, how much has stuck with me? You said has stuck with me just from like the film aspect, or really a lot, because I'm a person who enjoys watching film, and I'm a firm believer that mental reps are just as important as physical reps, if not more important. And sitting down and watching film, it's crazy, and it's a lot of it's universal. We don't simply just watch college film while he was at Ohio State or whatever it may be. We watch a lot of NFL film, and a lot of us obviously have aspirations of going to the league. So it all translates, and the techniques that he teaches us. Again, Coach Ash has been around for a long time, and he knows what he's talking about. And just to keep up on it, like you said, it's I still put in DB work. He would send us stuff that we could do on the side if we want. I mean, that was some drills that we need that could help us on some of the stuff that we need to do to fit the scheme. So again, he's top notch, and I feel like this year, like I said, it's going to be a pretty special year. So.
Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Caden, a couple things. I'm curious, how much time do you think you need to get game ready for the season? Like, do you need 4 weeks, 6 weeks, a couple months? And also, if it turns out that they decide to play games without, large crowds in the stands, what are your thoughts on potentially playing in front of virtually empty stadiums?
First question again, I apologize.
How much time do you think you need to get game ready? I guess, do you think you need a month, 6 weeks, 2 months to get game ready as a team?
I think you need at least personally around a month, just to get acclimated. And again, I feel like us athletes need to be kind of benefited from it and not just kind of thrown out there, because that could be injury risk and all sorts of complications. So I say at least about 6 weeks to a month. If that's a month. So around that time should be pretty good, especially if you're already, which most athletes or college athletes are staying in shape now, but just to get acclimated and again to really have that time to perfect your craft a little bit more, I think about a month. The second question.
Hold on. What would you think if they decided to play games without, large amount of fans in the stands? What would you think about potentially playing in front of virtually empty stadiums?
Well, it's going to be different, obviously, something you're not used to, but if it has to be done, it has to be done. Again, I'm sure they're going to come up with ways for us to be as safe as possible. And if that is required, then that's required. So.
Alex, go ahead.
What's up, Caden? So when you aren't working out or watching film, just curious, what are you doing to pass the time? And then quick follow-up. Obviously, this isn't a good situation, but what does this extra family time mean to you?
So what I do, I have a dog that I like to, take him on walks and spend time with. And again, really just to be connected with myself, and obviously family time is really huge. Because again, that's stuff that we took for granted, I feel like, all of us. So even though it is a very challenging situation and it's not an ideal situation that I would want to be in, I feel like it was a huge reset for everybody to reset and to reconnect with themselves and the things that they love most. And so yeah. And you say, what else did you ask?
Oh, it was just the extra family time meant to you. Spending time with mom.
Yeah. The family time is important. My family is it's fun. They're funny people. They're fun to be around. It's always good vibes to be around them. So it's cool.
Brian, go ahead.
Two things, Caden. Number one, physically, how would you say that you are right now?
Physically, I'm 100%, and I'm not going to say anything other than that regardless, just because that's just me. I've been on top of everything, and when I was younger, probably my freshman year, I'd probably say I wasn't probably the most when it came to doing recovery, and I didn't understand that as much, but now I see how big and important it is, because the game is obviously physical. So I've been on it, and I feel great. And again, I'm ready. I'm excited.
Cool. And then second thing, it's funny that you guys are preparing, and it's all about mental reps right now. I would argue that one of the reasons why Brandon got picked so high in the draft was because of his off the field preparation, with the binder that he made and everything else. I mean, what kind of lessons can you take from what BJ did to how y'all can apply preparing and studying film and mental reps for your season?
I mean, like you said, it's huge. And when you get at that high of a level, when it comes to getting ready to play in the league or whatever, the biggest thing that allows you to play fast is your mind. You can go out there and you can run a 4.2 or whatever the fastest time 40 is. You can go out there and run a 4.2. But if you're second guessing yourself and hesitating, that 4.2 turns into a 4.6 real quick. And again, there was a reason why B. Jones played so fast and was always around the football. And he was actually both. He's actually pretty fast too, but his mind is really sharp. And again, talk about what B. Jones is between me and him, and even sometimes we get with Sam and talk what offenses try to do. And it's a lot of knowledge getting passed around, but just apply that lessons that the film room is really important. And if you want to continue to play this game for a long time and last and be a step ahead, it's a lot better when you go on the field and you understand what your opponents are trying to do to you, and what plays coming. There's no better feeling than that. So B. Jones was really good at that, and it showed. And that's why I'm super proud of him for everything that he's accomplished. So,
Roger?
I assume you saw a little bit of what was going on Friday with the My Texas tailgate. What was it like to see what your university fans, coaches were doing to kind of take over social media Friday?
I feel like it was a cool thing. I mean, it keeps people involved and really gives them something to do when you're sitting at home the whole time. So, it was pretty cool.
Bob?
Obviously, the injuries last year allowed a lot of guys to get reps that they wouldn't have otherwise gotten. I know you lose Brandon, but what excites you about the guys that you have coming back? And obviously, you haven't really seen anybody this spring be able to do anything, but who are some of the guys that you kind of target as guys to fill in leadership roles next year?
Really, there's a lot of dudes. from each position that are leaders up front. You got TQ, you got Joe, linebackers. You got dudes stepping up. You got in the secondary. It's the secondary. A lot of people have played, so there's what I mean. There's no excuse. There's no reason why we shouldn't be one of the top secondaries or best defenses, because top to bottom, the talent's there, and then the leadership is coming along. So Josh Thompson's a huge one. Getting him back and him taking on that leadership role is huge. You got Jalen Green. It's so many dudes. Delane, Deshaun. You got BJ, Chris Brown. That's just in the secondary. Like, this defense can be really scary, and it will be. And you're gonna have Joe Osai and TQ and Keandre up there putting pressure on the quarterback, and the linebackers. You got Jawan Mitchell, and one in Court Jacobs is huge, man. He stepped up in the Alamo Bowl for us pretty well. So the list it's there. Like, I don't and again, it's like what I said. It's about just putting it together and coming together as a team. And I feel like we're doing that, and we're taking steps in the right direction with the leadership that we have.
Donovan, did you have a question?
Yeah. Hey, Caden. With all the changes to the coaching staff, is there a heightened level of a sense of urgency around the team?
I felt like regardless, there is going to be a sense of urgency, because you look at last year and you see, I guess, the production or whatever. I don't really know what people say about us, but personally, we ain't playing to the level that we can play to. And regardless of who came in, what happened on coaching changes, there's going to be a sense of urgency led by the players, because we weren't really satisfied the way that we played throughout the whole season. I mean, and it shows because we went out against Utah and we did our thing, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be like that all year. But this coaching staff, yeah, they have, added some of that urgency, but it's more so regardless of who was in that position that this team wants to get turned around. So we had to really look and dig inside ourselves and see what was going on, and how to get on the right track.
Hey, Jeff, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see your raised hand.
No, it's okay. Thanks, John. Caden, you talked about your work with the food bank and kind of taking on a leadership role with this team. And I know you just talked about a sense of urgency, but for you personally, has there been a sense of urgency to take on more of a leadership role, not just in terms of on the field, in the locker room, what have you, but kind of using your platform to make a difference in the community now that you're a little further along in your career?
Oh yes, sir, for sure. San Antonio, man, is like, I love the city so much. So just around the city and just being a positive role model for whoever may be looking up to me. I'm not really sure, and not that I see myself on that standard, but I do understand that a lot of people look up to me and a lot of players in college football. And again, just to simply give back to my community that gave so much to me, I feel like there's no other reason why. I feel like with San Antonio has been huge. Still, high school has been huge to me. And if it wasn't for me going there, I feel like I probably wouldn't be the player that or half the player that I am today. So again, like, yeah, just being able to give back is something that I always felt like I want to do, just because it's so important to me, and the simplest things can go a long way and change people's mindsets or change people's situations. So why not? That's what we hear. People thrive off connection, and I feel like as a community, there's no right now, especially right now, that we need to come together. Obviously, keeping our 6 feet distance still, but still come together on a whole nother level spiritually and internally. So
Got time for 2 last ones. Go ahead, Nick, and then Emily.
Yeah, just kind of wanted to touch again on the food bank a little bit. Obviously, what you've been able to do with, I think there's 5 or 6 other guys that have been able to start that fundraiser. But also seeing guys like, R.C. Buford and Greg Popovich, at the food bank, handing out food, trying to get people to donate. I mean, what's it mean to see, people with the platform like you, like Pop, like Buford, Spurs athletes come together and try to support the city that you live in and played in?
It's huge. Like I said, these are people that everybody kind of looks up to, and for them to get down and again get their hands dirty or what term you ever want to use, and just being able to understand what other people are going through and trying to put themselves in their shoes and trying to help them out is people see that, and again it shows the person that they are, and again I love it, and it's huge for the community. So I'm really appreciative to it because, again, like I said, there's a lot of people out there that are really struggling, and they need a helping hand. So it's only right, not only right, but it is only right, really, just to be over there and help them out. So